Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Unlaced podcast. We're back on the dance floor. Thank you for everyone that tuned in to the Jake Brimmer episode. Obviously, he's a superstar in the making, and I'm tipping he could be at the World Cup in Qatar, which we hope, definitely, because he's been stellar for Melbourne Victory for the last few years. Now, oddly enough, out of the two of us in this room today, I'm the soccer fanatic and I haven't been to a World Cup, but Dane Swan has actually been to Russia. So,
I have.
Mate, what was that like?
Better than what it is right now. I would imagine.
You'd never go back again. You're one of the few that'll say that they've been to Russia.
Allowed for what I did over there, and then from what's going on in the world at the moment. No, Russia was awesome actually. Now whether it was because the World Cup was on or that's how it always is, I'm not sure. But no one else will ever find out. But I had a ball over there. Just a melting pot of what? How many countries go to the World Cup? 32.
32, yeah.
Yeah, so 32, and there's probably more countries there because it's an event. Like I liked soccer when I was on Foxtel. Now I wouldn't even know I wouldn't even know the Premier League's on anymore. It's Optus Vision.
Yeah, Optus Sport. Yeah, mate. Do you know how they
Who's got
sneakily?
Optus Sport?
Well, I do. And I was paying $10 a month, and now they've somehow found out it's like $39 or $30 a month.
Yeah, so I'm
cheeky
not.
bastards.
I don't like soccer and it's long late at night. So I used to watch it Premier when it was on Foxtel and stuff, and was in it, but I've just lost me way when it hasn't been televised. So I'm an Arsenal fan for what that's worth. But how are they going this year?
Who would have thought? They're flying. They're on top.
Thought so.
Four.
What are they called? Go Gunners. Yeah,
Gunners.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Were you taken back by like how big the World Cup was? Like, because in Australia we don't. I guess some people don't really know how big soccer is. I guess, but was it not as?
No, I kind of knew what I was. Kind of had in my head what I was expecting, and it was kind of a bit like that. But on the same side though, like going down one of the main drags in Moscow at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday and have 5,000 people walking up and down the streets chanting, drinking piss, carrying on in bars, was mind blowing. It was such a cool couple of weeks to be a part. I wasn't there the whole time. Obviously, I was there a couple of weeks, I think, before I moved on to other parts of Europe. But it was real good fun. A good group of boys, and everyone is there for a good time. Yeah. I imagine Russia can be a little bit scary and daunting at times if you're there on your own. But mate, no matter what time of the morning or day or night you were out, there was hundreds or thousands of people just walking the streets, singing, chanting, all in their country colours. So. I had a ball. Didn't see much soccer.
I bet, yeah.
But I had a great time. Went to 2 Aussie games and flew in and out. We based ourselves in Moscow for 2 weeks. And that was also pretty cool to see, we're probably one of the more well-supported sides, and I'll say we're not very good, are we?
People don't expect us to do well, yeah.
We're a minnow compared to the giants of world soccer. So, mate, we probably supported our side as big as most, tens of thousands of Aussies going to games and, singing Land Down Under before it when it come over the speakers. It was, I wouldn't say I'm super patriotic at all. I don't defend Australia to the hill. It's not something that hill I would die on, but, I love my country, but I'm not fucking super patriotic. But once you get there, you feel, a bit more love for your country. And, it was awesome. I had a ball. Mate, this one's coming around quickly.
I know. I don't know what's going to... I don't even know if you can drink in Qatar. I read the other day that, you can't... But surely you can.
Well, I'm not... Well,
who would go?
Well, not me.
Go into the desert over an Australian summer and, you can't drink.
I'm thinking about it.
Would you? Would you go?
Yeah, definitely.
Fuck yeah.
I'm trying. We'll see what happens, see if I'm allowed.
We got a tough group. We were speaking with a...
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, we got a tough group. It's pretty much the same as last year. In Russia. Yeah, France and Denmark are in there again.
There you go.
But anyway, I do want to speak to you because on the way here, you're a few minutes late. You had a bit of a pet peeve dealing with a parking inspector around the corner. So.
Out the front of my house. Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, he booked me and my neighbour's car, and when we're in the right spot.
You have a permit,
Fuck,
right?
that infuriate me. I've got permits. That was my point. I know listen, I understand parking inspectors are a low job. But
tough gig, mate.
Oh yeah, it's a low job. But I understand if that's what you got to do to feed your family. I'd go homeless and my family would starve. But you got to do what you got to do, don't you? But I was out the front of my house, and just up the road, and they booked. My neighbour's car's been there because they're in Europe. It's been there for 2 months. I was like, mate, that car's been there for 2 months. You're the first person to put a ticket on. Who do you think's in the right? The hundreds that have come past it in the last 7 weeks, 6 days, or you? And mate, he's arming and ahhing. He goes, well, I thought it was a business. Well, mate, I said, how long? You obviously knew. I actually hadn't seen him before, and I wasn't, aggressive. And I was like, mate, you obviously knew him, mate. He goes, no, I've been here for years. I said, well, unfortunately, you're in the wrong. And I was like, mate, I have to write an email now. I've been there 10, 12 years. I reckon I've been booked out the front there 5 times. And every time I just have to write, it's just a pain in the ass. I have to write an email to the council and they let it go because I'm in the right.
Yeah.
If I'm in the wrong, I'll get parking tickets just like everyone else. And I throw them away. Then about 4 times later, when it's about twice, when it's about double the amount,
$500.
Exactly. I walk into the post office and we head down and pay it. But we're in the right this time. So
what was his response? Like, because
I thought it was a place of business. I go, mate, it's an apartment building. Have a look. Because I parked out the front of the apartments next to me. And there's a shop next to it. And I was like, mate, it's an apartment building. He goes, I thought it was a place of business. I go, does it look like a place of business? Unless they're running hookers through there or running rub and tugs up through there. That's the only businesses maybe. But
maybe I'll go later and inspect
exactly.
that.
Well, fuck, they should have told me. But but no, so I'm in the right. So I've just got to write an email at some stage. And it's raining now, so the ticket might be a bit wet.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Well, do you know actually what? I called you before. I was actually a bit stressed out today because I got a fucking million things going on. I called you before. I reckon you are the most laid back bloke I've ever met because I was like, what are you up to? Oh, man, just cruising, man. Just, doing nothing. Like, everything's like that. I'm like, mate, you just chill, don't you?
Oh, well.
You've got a lot going on, but like your demeanor's like pretty...
Well, what's the point of worrying everyone else with the shit I've got going on?
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about what anyone else is doing.
True.
Well, so I just float around and just get done what I need to get done and then we move on.
Do you... Because I don't know if you'd like this word. I'm guessing you wouldn't. But like, you're kind of like an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. That's going to be in the spelling bee. Because you got quite a lot of businesses that you got, or at least your fingers in quite a few pies.
Like you said, pies there.
Yeah. Pardon the pun.
Yeah. Magpies.
Yeah, but
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
My fingers in them.
No, but
it's a footy trip. We've gone wrong.
Oh, I need to hear about this. But no, what are you running? You got the clothing business. You got the tattoo parlor.
Well, running's a strong word.
Yeah.
Invested in.
Right.
The bar.
The Albion.
Yeah.
How's that, mate? That place is unbelievable.
It's going all right. Everything just goes all right. Like I was saying earlier, podcasts, do stuff for sports, but invested in a tech company. So basically, I was saying before, if I put a bit more time and effort into things, I'll be a lot more successful than what I am. I just sort of let things just float along around me. And every now and then I might get some, I might put a bit more effort into this in the next couple of months, then it just sort of wanes down.
Were you like that with footy though? Because you kind of, like I feel like in footy you were like pretty, or towards the back end of your career anyway, it looked like you were like working pretty hard.
I always worked hard on game day.
There's so many layers to that answer.
Well, game day I worked hard because I wanted to play well.
Yeah.
Pre-season you obviously have to work a bit hard. The rest of it, during the week, I didn't have a great deal of sort of inspiration to try hard.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, my motivation wasn't. Look at why would you want to be training outside right now?
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, when I already knew that I was playing on the weekend, it really did not interest me training in Melbourne in the weather.
Really? Yeah, no, it's hard through the winter.
But in saying that, I'd prefer to run inside in the heat in the altitude room and do some sort of interval running sprints. That's what I felt I needed to get the best out of myself. I didn't need to touch the balls during the week. I felt like I had good enough touch, and obviously I fumbled and stuff plenty of times out there. But I felt like what was needed for me was to be able to run and get that sort of that 1, 2, 3, 400, 500 meters strides in on the treadie. So that's what I wanted. And the other thing was I felt like I had one effort in me a week.
Right.
And it was game day. So maybe that was a mental thing. I didn't want to exert any energy apart from after a game. And that was it. So that was my mentality, right or wrong.
Did Collingwood end up giving you like leeway with that mentality, especially when you were like actually bringing home the bacon?
When you're pretty good. When you're good, you get a bit of leeway.
So up until when did they start allowing that? Like when did they say, you're not good enough to...
It took a while. Well, even at the start, I wasn't even training. I was just going out a lot. I was a shithead. So
yeah.
I just got very lucky. Mate, once you become probably 08, 9, 10,
Yeah.
you know, once you start winning best and fairest and all Australians and that, you sort of can have a bit more pull. And the other thing probably was I didn't look after myself real well on the weekend, so it wasn't like my body was good enough to train. Like I didn't prepare or recover like some of the professional athletes out there. So I was sore for a lot longer than most because ice bars, not a big rap for. I think they're for the mentally weak.
Yeah, yeah. Why? Why? To dissect that for me. Like, what is in that?
Well,
like,
because
like the do-gooders.
No, I recovered mentally.
Right.
I just told my body I was all right.
Right. Mate,
I didn't need cold water.
Somebody should have played the 1960s with this mentality.
I didn't need cold water to tell me I was healing or recovering.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys used to go in the ocean. That's just
no, that wasn't fun.
Yeah,
Remember Benny Johnson wore a wetsuit one day and
did he? Yeah. Cop stick.
Yeah, I was fucking impressed. But coaching staff were like, no, and he was like, mate, no one told me you couldn't, so you got away with it. But then he got banned.
You used to wear this like beanie helmet thing, like it was like I don't know, you'd wear your Speedos, but then you had this like, I don't know, it looked like almost like a Russian hat or something around you to keep your head warm.
Mate, everything you could. The beach things were not good, and they always made it at like 6 or 7 in the morning. The assholes like the beach is. Last time I checked, the beach is still there in the afternoon.
Are they really?
Apparently.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So. But that wasn't good. That was freezing. So I went a big rap for that. Ice bars, no good. I just wasn't. I didn't get good. My body didn't get good till about the day before the game. So I was just in a vicious cycle for 25 weeks.
Fucking hell. I actually
no one sees that.
Yeah, no one sees that.
No one sees how sore you are, and everyone just sees what you do on the weekend. But
well, mate, your foot when you stepped in here, is it still the same from back in the AFL days? Like, is that still the same problem, or is it different now?
No, I had surgery and retired because of it. So.
Yeah, I know, but like even now, like when you're playing,
I played footy on the weekend, so it's I don't know what it's from. I must have done something to it. Don't know. It's just it was a bit sore, and I was like, fuck, looks a bit worse than what it is, but I'll be right.
I actually to go back to the your businesses. I'm just interested to know. Do you have an office? Do you have a home office or something that you work out of? Or you like?
I have a desk.
Yeah, you have a because we did a Zoom call the other day, and I was like, I swear he's sitting in an office or a desk, and I was actually like taken back because you didn't strike me as an office guy.
Well, we put one in because we had a spare room there.
There you go.
Taylor uses it a bit when she works from home. I don't use it, mate. No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Nah.
I didn't think so. Now, just to go into, because obviously since we've started doing some stuff with Swanee and Jake, which those that haven't checked it out, please go and do it. Get onto the YouTube or Instagram. And if you actually want to know, the first podcast I did with Swanee was, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, maybe. Oh, even longer, maybe. It might have even been last year. Like this time last year. Could have been that long.
But it was COVID? We would have been allowed out of our house back then.
No, we were at the burger place at Royal Stacks.
Yeah.
I
got no idea.
Actually, I got no. Anyway, for those that want to hear about Swanee's career and stuff, and like hit the man himself, go back and check that one out because this one's going to be talking about, I guess, more the today stuff. But there was a few questions that I did want to go through around your time in Collingwood, and obviously I've mentioned how fucking chill you are. In general, but it kind of made me realise that like in the big games where you always seem to play well, like maybe that chill demeanour kind of helped you out. Did you ever get like overawed by the moments or nervous like that? Because you never look like it.
I don't think you get overawed. You obviously got, I don't know if anxiety is the right word, but you obviously feel it a bit different when you're, a Sunday afternoon game versus Freo on the or versus Gold Coast or GWS when they first come into the league, when they were playing, when you're beating them by 100 points in the freezing cold MCG on Sundays. That game's a little bit different to running out in the prelim in front of 100,000, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, all coaches and that say you got to prepare the same, but clearly, it's the butterflies in the stomach or whatever you want to call it, the nervous energy, it's definitely there on the big games, but try to embrace it. The small games, I had the reverse mentality. I wanted to play. I had less interest in the small games and more interest in the big games because there was no one watching the small games. So you want to play well when everyone's watching. So I was, and I'm sure many people have this, but I was more keen to play well in the big games and more excited for the big games. And when you play Collingwood, you play in front of such big crowds, you play in front of 60, 70,000 minimum every week. When you go somewhere and you play in front of 8,000, you're like, yeah,
fuck that.
I can't be fucked.
Yeah.
Well, this is boring. So, and I wanted everyone to see me play well. So, the big games, I I didn't get excited more, but I was probably more, not focus was the word, but I certainly had more motivation to play well. Yeah, and you want to play well in big games, and my job was to get the ball, and the bigger the game, the more I wanted the ball. I couldn't do much with it, but I fucking wanted it as much as I could.
Well, how do you go playing footy now then in front of, like, see, for instance, I can't play local soccer. Just for that reason.
I do it because I got a family. I need to get out of the house.
Yeah, is that why?
Yeah.
It probably keeps you fit as well.
Well, I'm not sure I'm fit, but but like, obviously my career ended prematurely. So
how old were you actually when
32.
it happened? 32.
So I didn't play for 6 years. This is the first year I basically played footy again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
mate, you've done the rounds too. Like, you've been, I think when we first started Swanee and Jake, like 1 week you're in Tas, 1 week
I've slutted myself around.
Yeah.
I might just going to local communities and helping out the communities.
Yeah, giving back.
That's what I'm about. Exactly.
The man of the people.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
so,
you say that a lot.
Yeah,
you actually are.
But no, I enjoy doing those things. You know, I don't miss playing AFL at all. But you know, you're a sportsman. Everything they tell you is you miss the locker room and the being around 40 blokes. And speaking of offices, I couldn't work in an office. I'd be in HR every second day.
Yeah.
Like the way I speak, my language.
You practically were at Collingwood.
Yeah, well, exactly. No, back then they didn't have them, so you'd be a bit more trouble now. But like I'd be fired pretty quickly from an office job. So, but you know, being around 40 blokes, or however many's on it.
Yeah.
Local list, 25 blokes every week. 2-3 times a week is good for me. I like to have a laugh and relax and you take yourself far less serious at local for mate. You don't have to train, or you do. Mate. We actually had an alcohol ban. I was like, alcohol ban. They were like, no drinking the night before the game.
That was the alcohol ban.
That's their alcohol ban.
Oh, that's awesome.
They fell off his seat. I was like, what? My blokes rolling up at 4:30 in the morning, like getting to bed at 4:30. I was like, fucking hell. Well, half of them, mate. What are you doing? We're playing in like 8 hours. Yeah. Because, mate, you just do the kind of, I said, mate, please, come on.
Did you have it the night before?
The night after a game, the night of a game, yeah. So maybe that'll trickle into the day after.
Yeah.
But, like, never.
Jeez, that's bold to go the day before.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but they do it all the time, which is fine. So, like, it's a bit different, local footy, so it's good fun. But, yeah, man, I go all right. Like, I'm 38, so I don't have much in the tank, but...
Was it? Did you find were you like comfortable walking away, even because it wasn't necessarily your decision? I guess,
no, it was my decision.
It was.
Bucks asked me. He said you give me a contract, but it'd be about. So I got a career-ending injury payout.
Oh right.
So he said it'd basically be about the same as your career-ending injury payout. So I was like, see you later, mate.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks for that. That'll do. Hindsight, whether my foot could have, I'm not sure my foot could have. Handle the requirements of being an AFL footballer. It's a lot of being on your feet, funnily enough, Jake. A lot of running, a lot of kicking. Yeah, some people might not believe that, but yeah. But, and we'll bottomed out. We'll go on shithouse. But if you had told me 24 months later we'd be...
Well, that's what I was going to say. Were you 2016? And then obviously the grand final.
First game. So basically it was 40 seconds. I played 40 seconds in the first game of 2016. Yeah. So I was... Now, if you had told me 2018 we would have been in the grand final, do I try and hang on? Yeah, you don't know, but the unfortunate thing is once your side bottoms out and you're over 30, especially 32, 33, AFL clubs get rid of all the old blokes.
Yeah.
And also, funnily enough, the AFL is not a development league.
No.
Like, you should be playing your best players, so which sometimes I think gets lost on AFL clubs. It's not a development league.
I'd say St Kilda definitely gets lost on. Geez, we just develop all the time. Fucking
yeah, exactly. Know. So you got to play best players. But, and I thought if my body can't get to where my brain expects it, even if you, especially at the top level, if you're that 0.1% off, that tiny little half a step off, and my game was based on speed and power and agility. If you didn't have it, you're no good. So, they say, die a hero, live long enough to become the villain. So, die a hero.
Yeah, it's better they say, why did you than why don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, Braden, you were actually doing a doco on Swanee when he did his foot. He was supposed to be following around for like potentially last year, and then round one dropped out, which it must have been fucking painful because I don't reckon you're the type of guy that would show pain or go down easy. But
yeah, no, it hurt a bit. I walked off though.
You did actually, yeah.
And walked down the rooms. I actually thought my foot wasn't the problem.
Oh, really?
I just thought I rolled my ankle because got up. I was like, fuck, that hurt a bit. I walked to the bench. I was like, I'll be right. And Doc was like, you're right. I said, oh, mate, and I never tape my ankles, never have. Feel too restricted. I don't feel like I had agility and speed with ape angles. So I said, mate, I think my ankle's a bit sore. We're just going to have to tape that up and I'll be good to go. And as we were walking to the bench, I felt the bone moving in my leg where as we're going downstairs, I could feel the bone moving in my leg. And I was like, mate, I think I've broken my leg. And he just said, yeah, you've broken your leg. He's like, that's about 8 weeks. I was like, yeah, sweet, no probs. Like, I'm fast heal, I'll be right. I'll be back in 6. And then he was like, what about your foot? I go, well, don't worry about that.
There you are mentally telling yourself again. Yeah, my body will be fixed in 6.
Exactly, see? No ice bars being done at all. And I'd already shaved 2 weeks off me recovery time. And he's like, what about your foot? And I was like, mate, that's no stress. Don't worry about it. Like, it's just a sprained ankle. That'll clearly be fine before the leg heals. Then about 15 minutes later, my foot just went boom and puffed up like a hammerhead shark, 2 like baseballs on the side of each foot. And I was like, you better go get the doc, to Anne, who worked down in the club. And Faz had nearly broken his neck, and Witsy had split the webbing in his hand, so the doc was needed for another half an hour. So he come down and he goes, oh, mate, what's happening? I said, well, you're the doctor. You fucking tell me. I go, what is it? He goes, I've got no idea what it is. I said, some doctor you are. He's like, there's so many bones in that in the foot because what you don't want it to be is a Linz Frank ligament.
Oh.
And sure enough, that's what it was. Plus, I broke like five bones in my foot as well. So it wasn't just a Linz Frank ligament who, you can come back from pretty, quick-ish. I broke 5 bones in my foot, my leg, and my Linz Frank ligament. So I don't do things in halves.
Yeah, that we know.
Yeah,
that we know. Actually, there's a couple of like maybe unknown facts to the general population out there. But you are, I think it was from 2010 to 2014 or 2009 to 2013, a 4-year period. You had 109 Brownlow votes or something like that. Yes, you could have you mean won one, but like. Oh, you've been on the record saying you probably should have had 3.
That was a pretty ordinary 4 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, very ordinary.
Should have had some more.
I think one of the great stories as well is I think it was the 09 one. So this is a year before you won the Brownlow. You actually didn't get invited to the Brownlow. Was it 07? You didn't get invited to the Brownlow, and then you almost took it out.
Yeah, I was on Mad Monday.
You're on Mad Monday.
Yeah, we got beat by Geelong in the prelim in 07, by 5 points.
So what happened there? Because you obviously didn't get invited. I think you ended up getting like 20 odd votes and like coming in the top.
Yeah, I was leading halfway through.
And you were on a Mad Monday.
Yeah, dressed up in a Spider-Man suit.
There would have been panic stations there.
Damn, I couldn't give a fuck.
Oh, you would have done your speech from there.
When I wasn't given one, they rang me, started to panic, but I was like, I'm not coming in. He didn't invite me, so he can get fucked.
Yeah, good. I like that.
But I think Bartel went on to win it by enough anyway. So, how you get invited to the Brownlow is the AFL or whoever is in charge of the Brownlow invites. They send the club the 4 or 5 invites they want to come to the function. Now the club look at that and go, okay, well they might go, well fuck, Jake's won our best and fairest. He hasn't been invited. I reckon he's got more chances, so they'll go back and go, actually I maybe should invite him because he's poll well in a BNF or he's done this. So that's happened. So that's how people get invited to the Brownlow. So obviously, what happened that year was that was my breakout year, I guess. So the AFL obviously didn't know who I was and didn't think I'd go any good, and obviously, and then the club obviously didn't think I had a good year either because they didn't fucking want me to go either. So I didn't get invited, and I was on my Mad Monday, which was a blessing that I didn't get invited. And then we're at the Rising Sun, then we're all getting out of our costumes, I think, to go out on a Monday night or whatever. We saw all Digits House getting changed. The Brownlow obviously just started. And, we're all sitting there getting changed, carrying on as you're doing. Then early, I got all my votes early. So I went from all just fucking around to all sitting on the couch watching. Yeah, and I kept getting votes. And then managers ringing me, going mad. Clubs ringing me. They go, they might want you to go in. And I was like, mate, they can get fucked. I'm not going in now. So firstly, I could hardly speak. And
fucking
then
hell.
Would have made a cunt of myself. So, but yeah, it's a story. I think I polled 20 odd votes some that year, and Bartel won with about 30, so I didn't get a vote in the second half of the year. So maybe they rigged it. Maybe they took all the votes out,
and then they loaded you up the next few years because you've had I don't know how you had that many votes, mate.
Yeah,
that's like 3-4 years. Was it 3 years or 4 years? I don't know.
Idea.
It was a lot, mate. It was like pretty much contention every year. But
they obviously liked me, the umpires, over that 4 years.
You never argued with them.
What's the So I had no energy. I was knackered I needed every breath I could get rather than running around yelling at umpires all the time. And as everyone says, an umpire's never changed his mind.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, great. If I have free kick, gets me, great decision. Umpire, that was terrific. Trying to get as many votes as I could.
You're a very logical man. Actually, there's one, I think this might be a well-known thing, but I've never heard you talk about it, but it looked like a constant drinking game at a Brownlow. Whenever the camera would pan to you, you would have a sip of beer. And like I just noticed it after like 6 or 7 pans because you were polling votes. Was that a drinking game going on? Most
clubs do it. But even though it's a lot harder to get beers now because I don't put them on the table after Fev fucked it for everyone. You get like a big A4 bit of plastic sheet there with all of the top 10 or 20 chances on it. And everyone goes around and you have to pick 1 or 2 people, and obviously one vote, it's like a 1 finger scale, 2 and 3. It's like, like a big one. So, and obviously you get yourself. So it was bullshit for me because I was always getting all the votes. So
you've been knackered round 10.
But the year I won it, we were in the granny the next week. So
you couldn't drink?
No. Well, I would have liked to.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you drank more after it. But speaking of your mob Collingwood, our big year, how do you summarise their season? Did you expect it coming in, them polling top 4?
No, of course not. Everyone, all so-called experts do their rankings at the start of the year in the ladder. I think I had them 10th. So I thought they'd win 8 or 9 games this year and improve on last year. I don't think the most positive Collingwood supporter could imagine they would finish 4th and win 16, 14 in a row, whatever it was, under 2 goals or whatever the stat is.
15 points or something.
Yeah, so they've been amazing. I think no matter what happens from here, it's a win. They at least play a couple of finals. I think they're, it's a huge win. I think, did they get lucky in a couple of games? Maybe, but not to win that many. It's a definite skill, and they've been taught it, obviously, and got a huge belief in the way they play. So, yeah, and at worst, which I've said all year, they're more fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. They're so...
They make your eyes bleed the last couple of years, the way they played. So, they're more fun to watch, and they're the best ticket in town at the moment. 70, 80, 90,000. Close games, come from behind. They're great to watch. So
the Collingwood bandwagon's well and truly out. Like, it is everywhere you look and everywhere you're on social media.
It's very weird to hear people are barracking for Collingwood who don't.
Yeah.
If you don't barrack for Collingwood, you hate them. So
it's like a feel-good team, the Pies.
Which is odd. I don't like that. No. I like to be hated. At Collingwood. So we've got enough supporters. We don't need everyone else's.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't need to be anyone else's second favourite side.
So what in particular about the Pies this year have you liked? Because they've obviously been quite attacking and their intensity's gone up, but they've also got so many young players that are playing probably above their years too.
Yeah, I think everything you've just said. The first ones they're more enjoyable to watch. They're playing with a game plan that is exciting, and they take the game on and let the young kids play on instinct because. Once again, believe it or not, kids who get drafted are actually good at football. Funnily enough, they actually know what they're doing. So let them play on instinct, and usually everyone, coaches their first option is usually your best option. So go out and play and do what you do. If you're quick, use your pace. If you're agile, use your agility. If you like take hangers, do it. They've brought some youth in who have obviously, we all know, but we don't need to tell you about all the young kids who are going really well. And I think. The club and Fly, what he's brought to the footy club, just so much more energetic and more of a welcoming place. And you can tell the boys obviously love him. They really enjoy being at the footy club from what I hear, and it's evident out in the track. Yeah. And it's evident game day. Like, you can tell they put in the work and they have a huge belief in themselves that they're in every game they play.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to take a quick pause in this episode, which I hope you're enjoying, to acknowledge our partners. Now, this episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Now, none of us like having sweaty sacks, and the king of crotch comfort, Manscaped, have actually spent 2 years designing some pretty cool boxer briefs. Now, I have had the opportunity of wearing these boxer brief, and they are some of the softest and most comfortable fabric that I have ever wore in any underwear. I do support what they do from a holistic part of their products. I've used a lot of their products and they are fantastic. But their new boxer briefs specifically, they actually give you gills on your groins, so they're breathable. So I implore you to get out there, use our discount code to start purchasing them. You'll get 20% off plus free worldwide shipping with the discount code UNLACED on manscaped.com. That's unlaced at manscaped.com for 20% off and worldwide free shipping. So get some boxer brief and some other product while you're at it. Let's get back into the episode.
I wanted to ask you around Jack Ginnivan, because I don't know if you were in a similar position, because I feel like maybe when you started making headlines you were slightly more mature, but you played with obviously like Dale Thomas and guys that in like their first or second year were just like playing as good as they'd ever played. Like, how have you sort of, I guess, seen his game, and then also the kind of the scrutiny or the press he's copped for such a young kid?
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
The scrutiny he's copped, like, I've said this as well many times. If he played at GWS, North Melbourne, St Kilda, Gold Coast, no one would know his name.
Yeah.
Like, it's because he won an Anzac Day medal, got thrust onto the big stage, like, and the head high ducking, or whatever it is, like the ducking free kicks. If he was doing that, like I said, at North Melbourne, GWS, out of sight, out of mind club, Fremantle over there, Kane Corns doesn't go on Footy Classified and do a 3-minute spiel about him.
Yeah.
You know, people aren't writing about him in the papers because he'd be irrelevant because he's at a club that's irrelevant. Well, not irrelevant, but just not as big as Collingwood. So it's because he's at Collingwood and people, once again, love to be hated. Collingwood sells papers. It gets people clicks. People tune in to TV shows to hear him talk about it. All the big clubs do. The Carltons. So Jack, being at Collingwood, is that the scrutiny's come on him, but he seems like he loves the attention.
Yeah, which you would love, because that's kind of like your era. A lot of those
it.
guys that cop the attention seem to not be affected too much.
So, and I think it did affect him a bit, because once they started, and the worst thing was he got umpired with bias, which umpires shouldn't be allowed to, not allowed to do. He was absolutely umpired with bias, where if he was going for the ball, fucking, you could karate kick his head clean off, and there'd be like play on. Like, every time I went for the ball, the umpires are going to make a statement going, I don't give a fuck what happens to him. Like, he ain't getting a free kick. So, and that is being umpired with bias, which is illegal. So,
not being a footy expert in me, like asking this like genuinely, is where he gets a lot of those high free kicks, is that footy smarts, or is that like a cheap?
No, I think it's smart. Pendlebury's been doing it forever.
Like, I come from soccer. When someone gives you contact, you drop. It's just smart. It's like,
Pendlebury's been doing it forever. Joel Selwood's an expert at it, but no one bags them.
Yeah.
Like, Kane Corns doesn't get, or the media don't come out and say they bring out a pick on this young kid who's, plays like he loves footy, which, when he's playing, I would imagine he plays now like he was playing when he was 16, 17. Flair loves it, loves to kick goals, loves to celebrate. So he's brought that into AFL. So I'm assuming that's how he thinks he plays his best footy, when he's enjoying it. That's how I did, when he's enjoying himself and having a good time. So I think it's a skill. I wasn't smart enough to do it, but the Luke Shuey's great at it. Selwood's brilliant at it. Pendlebury's brilliant at it. This young kid's come in, done it, and it's worked. So, and, the AFL jump up and down, and the head sacrosanct. You cannot touch the head. Barber, if it's an accident, it's still reportable. Mm. This poor kid gets his head smashed off every, week after week, and it's play on. So, is the head sacrosanct or not? I think if you're smart enough to work it, it's a free kick. If again, tackled high is high, no matter which way you slice it.
If you were still like in the four walls of the footy club, like, with Pendles and Steele and the leadership group and stuff, what would you kind of be? I mean, I don't know if you'd be much of a talker, like prepping teammates up, but what would be your advice to him going through the storm he had?
I'm sure they've said is just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Wouldn't change a thing, would you?
Yeah, no, not at all. Maybe, and yes, he did go looking for the contact a bit sometimes. Like, you see the vision where he could have handballed, instead he goes. So maybe just, do look for your teammates. Don't try and go, but if it's there, go for it. But just keep doing what you're doing, because it's working. You won Anzac Day medal, you kick goals, you don't miss much. Just keep being you, keep being what got you to being the player you are. I don't know if that's being bubbly and carrying on and giving the crowd shit once you kick a goal, or lapping up the booze, or whatever it is. Just keep doing you, because it's made you the player you are. And the second you go away from that, you become lesser of a player.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm interested to know, I don't know if you watch individuals much, but do you have a favourite player that you like watching in the AFL?
Outside of Collingwood?
Yeah, Collingwood as well, whatever's like.
Well, obviously Dustin, Shea Bolton is obviously super to watch.
Yeah, he's a superstar, Shea Bolton.
Chad Warner's pretty good from Sydney. He's fun to watch. Anyone who takes the game on, uses pace and like breaks lines and uses their leg speed to get in and out of traffic are the players that I like. So there's a couple. Who else in the finals? Melbourne. I think Oliver's the best midfielder in the league.
Yeah.
I think he's the best midfielder in the league. So he's what he's turned himself into. You know, he couldn't kick, and but now he's damaging by foot. He's unbelievable inside and out. So I like watching him. What other clubs are there? Geelong.
Do you think Dusty's like one of the best of all time? If not the like, would you put him in?
Questionable. Best finals.
I don't think has anyone ever done what he's done.
No, he's the best finals player of all time. That's unquestionable. Greatest player of all time. For me, I think key forwards are harder to find than midfielders.
Yeah.
So, but even though he sort of goes forward, so I would rate key forwards in that ahead of all midfielders, just because you can sort of replace the midfielder. Like you can replace whoever the best midfielder is. You want to say Ablett, Judd, Buckley, whatever. You can replace them with someone like me, or someone Petrarca, Oliver, who can sort of do that. Maybe not on their level. You can't replace a Carey, Ablett, Matthews. Lockett, all those kind of guys, Rewalt. So I think they're hard to buddy. They're irreplaceable. So for me, that's why they'll always be the best players.
Because there was what was it, 2016, 2017? He just he was already a superstar, but he just became by
17.
far. It was 17. But and I think around that time, you just never heard about him, never saw him in the streets.
Still don't.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? What was sort of the?
It's just how he is.
He just flicked a switch one day and thought this is.
As in football wise.
Yeah, well, just in general, with football. I mean, football took a turn there.
It takes a while for the penny to drop. And then, you just got more confident, got older, got more mature. And then, and Richmond, it's also a lot easier to play well on a good side. And Richmond turned the corner that year. And Dustin's not one, a lot of us midfielders run around, want to have 35 every week.
Yeah.
Because it looks good on the stats. And I need to go and have 30 and go around hunting cheap kicks. And we all did it. And any midfielder out there says they don't's a liar. Because that's what the game's based on. If you've had, when you've had zero, trust me, you run around the back, get a handball, get me involved. All the mids do it. All the good mids do it. But he's the one exception. He literally does not care if he has 15 or 55. He just will do what he does during the regular season, help the side win. Then when it comes to finals and the big games, he's like, righto, now it's my turn.
Who do you think is going to take out the Brownlow? Is it a tough one?
Yeah, I actually haven't seen. I haven't even had a look at the odds. I'm not a huge Brownlow bettor, but Clayton Oliver's, I think, is the best player in the league, so best midfielder in the league, and it's a midfielder's award. So I don't know what he's probably the favourite.
Yeah, I think he is. Okay, I think him and Brayshaw.
I don't think Brayshaw will win it.
No, there you go. Oliver, Braden. Who else you would be?
Lachie Neale, maybe.
Oh,
I think Brayshaw. I don't know how many. Brayshaw might have voted last year, but it usually takes you a year or two to get noticed. So I don't think Brayshaw will win it. Now he could prove me wrong. I think Oliver. Who else is that? Collingwood, very even, so no. Geelong, also very even side. There's no midfielder who's really dominated this year, so you don't think anyone from them. Melbourne, Petrarca and Brayshaw might take votes on, but Lachie Neale, they've won a lot of games. Shea Bolt may poll well.
He's just super. I didn't realise how good he was until this year. There you go.
Yeah, Cripps, Tuke Miller.
Tuke Miller could poll well, okay.
I'm sure they'll win enough games. I like Oliver, $4. So Lachie Neale's $3. Oliver's $4. I'll take Oliver.
There you go. Oliver
$4.
Oliver at $4, yeah.
And have maybe Connor Rosie each. 100. He's 100. He's 100 to 1. Maybe top 5 or something like that.
There you go. We love that. Now, I actually wanted to talk about Swanee and Jake for a little bit because I don't know how we've ended up there, but somehow we're in a washing machine of putting chili down our throats and doing all sorts of weird shit. But you having fun?
Not really.
Yeah, not really.
Have you seen what we've done?
Yeah, I know. Mate, I had a guy message me telling us off for not doing the hot sauce that was the bomb in the Hot One show because we left that one out. And apparently that's the hottest one, but it's not at the top. It's like third or fourth last, but it's all like extracts of all chilies. So it's not actually flavoursome. It's just like battery acid. And yeah, some guys like, mate, you haven't done...
we tried it. I thought we tried it.
No, there's one called Da Bomb.
Oh, did we not have it?
No, we didn't have that one.
I thought you meant we actually left one out of
No. We didn't actually have it.
Tell him to send it to us.
Yeah, I know. Well, I said, based off that, we're going to have to try it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we do.
Nothing's been fun about it at all.
Yeah,
Jake.
it's been awful actually so far.
Nothing. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's even enjoying it, but like we're not enjoying it. It's
No.
it's hard work.
The
The chili burger was.
That was nasty. That
Yeah.
fucking hurt. That hurt. That hurt a couple of hours later. That's what
Yeah,
it did.
it was a day ruiner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was not pleasant at all. It was just trying to eat it with speed was not good.
Yeah, we're going to be chaining it up. We're going to be doing some other stuff.
I had hiccups immediately as soon as I.
Yeah, your first bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Do you know, I actually, and this may be a leak, but when they're going to get Tommy Sheridan on one of the Swanee Jakes, he's like, mate, I'll come on, just don't like fuck me up with chili. So we've got this fucking wrap now. So yeah, maybe we should do a chili one.
We need you to eat some fruit.
Yeah, oh, fuck. What do we need to eat you? Eggs. Yeah. Well, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it for the people. We're man of the people.
Ask the people what they want.
Yeah, well, mate, we've got some weird ones. Yeah, some guy said that we should fucking read them because mate, they're really. I'm talking really weird. Some guy said we should review soup cans and guess what labels they are. I wouldn't even know what a soup can is.
Soup cans.
Yeah, well, like, do you know what I mean? He goes, some girl goes, I want to see Dane rattled by something, anything. He is so funny, but chill as fuck as always. That wasn't much help. Undie brands, including past experiences. What does that mean?
Undie brands. Like we're going to try them on.
Yeah, like what we give our reviews of underwear. You're going
to be the model. How's your rig looking?
Not great.
Not great.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a facade, like the coloured guy that should be shredded, but not. Okay. Someone said we should play sting ping, which is table tennis where you end up like, if you lose a point or you lose the game, you got to pull your pants
table
out.
tennis?
I'm good backhand, no forehand. What about you?
I haven't played in 5-6 years. Well, I've played since I was playing in AFL, but I was okay. I was serviceable. I wasn't up the top in the side, but I was just in the middle somewhere.
Shit, it could be down the track. Then this is what it was. Guess the canned soup taste test. That's what it is. I don't eat enough soup from various cans.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, listen, if that's what the people want.
Well, yeah.
Send us a video of exactly what that is. But
there's a few good ones. I mean, someone said vaping flavours, which is ironic, but something. Yeah, Kit Kat.
Are you allowed to vape these days?
No, you're not.
Okay, well, there you
shouldn't be doing that. But
no.
Well, to round out, I just wanted to talk about. You got a chip at the end.
So, Swanee Joe, where do you find it? Because I wouldn't know.
Oh, YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube.
Have you watched an episode back?
No.
I watched the Hot Ones. The Hot Ones is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like it ends the show like you can't sit still and you have to walk off, and I'm closing it out, but I can't open my eyes.
That was hot, man.
Yeah, it was really.
Funnily enough, it was fucking hot.
There was one. Woo. I think because do you know what's funny is you brought in your own Tabasco from home.
Yeah.
And the first 3 or 4 were like, it was piss take, and the Tabasco should have been down the end, and that fucked us. And then I couldn't really recover. And I was like, man, that's sitting on your shelf at home.
Yeah, that wasn't very fun. It wasn't a smart idea. Whoever decided to do the hot wings challenge, whatever it is.
Yeah. Are you so you're going away to Thailand at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Was that I saw like people can go there with you or something, win a trip with Dane.
Yeah, that'll be all right. Fiji as well. We've got a little bit planned.
Got a good life, mate.
Not really. Mate, it's just like Instagram, you know. Yeah. Not that I'm on Instagram much these days unless I'm promoting some, but my life's all right, mate. It's family now, so it's not what not what it used to be. I was driving somewhere, maybe home from footy. This 2 weeks ago we play a final this last Sunday. We may be out now depending on what's happened. But I was driving around from footy last Sunday and like it was a beautiful day. We just won a final. Driving around, I was like, fuck, you could just smell like finals in the air, and like everyone on their silly Sunday and footy trips. And then I was like, fuck, I'll give anything to go back to this time of year where I've got not one responsibility in life. Like to have you get beat mid-September and you've got till first week in November to do absolutely whatever you want, not have one care in the world, not have one responsibility. I nearly started crying.
Yeah. And still getting paid a healthy buck and you're not working.
I started welling up. I was like, fuck. What I would do to be like, boys, let's go to the pub Tuesday afternoon, finish whenever you wanted, sleep till whenever you wanted, order fucking Uber Eats, get up, boys, let's go to the pub again. Then we get on a flight, one-way ticket, the first stop, then you just fucking do what you like, mate.
Then you just figure it out from there.
Oh, mate, those
the
were the
freedom,
days.
yeah.
Get me out.
Get me. He's welling up right now.
I know. I need to remove those memories from my brain.
Yeah, can you? Well,
it really upsets me.
After this question, you can. But
I go home. I've got a child. I've got I've got to pay bills. I've got responsibilities.
Yeah. But you're emailing parking inspectors.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
all happening.
I'm a grumpy. I'm running around yelling at clouds. Running around yelling at parking inspectors. So
can you give me this? I hope this doesn't hurt you, but can you give me your top 3 end of season trips?
Like in destinations?
Yeah, as in like either just the actual trip itself.
As in ones I've been on, you mean destinations?
No, the ones you've been on, like the footy trips I'm talking.
Well, your first one obviously would have to be up there. That was, mate, half the people who probably listen to this weren't even born then. 2002. First time I've been overseas, basically anywhere I've been to schoolies without the family, but first time I've really been anywhere without the family. We went to Cancun for a week, 10 days. That was the first time I'd been overseas with a group, mate. Fuck, did my eyes open up to some shenanigans that was going on in the world. I was like, this is fucking what happens when you're not with your parents. Holy shit.
How good is this?
Oh, mate, it was fucking incredible. That was a memorable one. 2 more. Probably the first Vegas trip where we did it, we understood what you had to do there.
So you knew you'd been to Vegas before and you came back.
So we'd done it before and we had no idea about buying tables and pool parties and we just first time we only with 2 or 3 of us only for a weekend before we moved on. Lining up for nightclubs for our it's just it fucking stunk. But we went back with all our 4 or 5 footy mates, but then 2 or 3 of all our other mates. We had 15, 20 of us, huge villa and then you did it properly, mate. That was that is forgettable because my memory is very, very hazy from that week. So that was awesome. And then probably the first time, me, Duz, and another group of mates went away. We did, LA, Vegas, and Europe.
Is that the one where you did a Peaky Blinders theme?
No, that was the mate's Bucks party.
That looks sick, mate.
That was Kevin Proctor's Bucks party. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, that looked elite.
Yeah, so they're probably the 3. They're probably the 3 footy trips. My first European summer was awesome, but that was obviously, I was obviously retired.
Yeah, true.
But they're probably the 3. My first one, and the 2 Vegas ones, the 2 of the many Vegas ones.
That must hurt now, mate.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There actually was a funny photo you put up of your young boy Tate, and you forced him to watch your Anzac Day highlights. Yeah. So that's the new feel good factor you get.
Yeah, got to live my life. Well, he's only 18 months, so got to get him to school or something so I can go overseas again.
Yeah, well, mate, it's been a pleasure having you on.
No worries.
We got a bit coming up with Swanee and Jake, and everyone should check out Swanee and Friends podcast.
Check it out.
It's flying.
Is it a podcast?
No, not Swanee and Jake. I was pumping Swanee and Friends. Okay. Yeah, Swanee and Friends is Swanee and Jake. We still don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get any smarter by listening to me podcast, but it's a bit of fun, mate. It takes you away from the weekly grind, I guess.
Well, just before we get signed off, let's have a crack here. Who do you reckon's going to win the flag?
Well, if I take my Collingwood hat off,
do you think Collingwood can actually win it?
They absolutely can win the flag. Will they win the flag is a different question. How do you not say Geelong at the moment? They're absolutely flying, but I'm not going to say them.
Is this their last chance, Geelong?
No, they're a remarkable.
Could they be? Yeah, I mean they're always there.
They're a fucking remarkable club. If you don't want to play at one of the big 4 clubs like Collingwood, Essendon in a basket case, but Essendon, Carlton, sort of Richmond, Geelong is becoming a destination club. They just all they do is play finals. They haven't bottomed out. I can't remember last time they were on the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't think I was playing footy, maybe early in my career, but they just have a remarkable ability just to keep topping up with players and to keep themselves relevant. So, mate, they must be an awesome club, awesomely ran football club. So, hats off to them.
Well, Dane, Swan, mate, been a pleasure as always.
No
Guys,
worries.
if you haven't left us a review, a like or subscribe, please do so.
Do it.
And thank you very much.
Same as Swanee and Jake.
Yeah, Swanee and Jake. Yeah, fucking, we need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're doing painful shit, man. Come on, get around us. And, appreciate you guys for tuning in.